Welcome to Sports Talk with RNJ. I'm Steve Risser along with Justin D'Onofrio. We got a busy show today. We got drama off the field with the Patriots and the Giants. Last week we kind of did, as that story broke with Reverend Rossini, we really didn't touch on it. We will touch on it today. We got the Yankees and Red Sox continuing to struggle, but the NBA play-in tournament began last night. And that's where we got to start. And how about the game last night? What a game that was. I mean, the Heat were up 6 with like a little over a minute to go. Bridges hits a 3. Uh, Miller hits a 3, then Kobe White hits a 3 to tie the game. So that was big. And then they were up 5. The craziest thing about last night, they were up 5. With 30 seconds left. The Heat hit a 3. Then Ball turns the ball over. Then he fouls Tyler Hero. Hero hits the next 3 free throws, and then LaMelo Ball wins the game. There's a crazy game for the Hornets, but they knock out the Heat and they keep their season alive. They'll play the winner of the Magic Sixer game on Friday night. We'll go to Orlando or Philly on Friday night, but crazy game, just a crazy game between the Hornets and Heat last night.
Yeah, it was. It was a good game. Usually that's a game where Miami, the last couple years, have kind of found ways to pull it out and get the win because they've done pretty good. They've been pretty well in the play-in, but yeah, Charlotte's got a really good young kind of core now with Bridges, Knipple, Brandon Miller, Ball. Kobe White was a really nice pickup for him. So, and that's a good young team. And I wasn't sure if they were going to get over the hump last night against a Miami team that's a little bit more experienced, but yeah, good comeback win for him last night to kind of hold on, and a couple big shots there late to put him over the top there. And that's a team that's been rolling. And if they had a better start to the year, they're not in this situation. They're definitely one of the top 6 seeds in the East. So they played really well down the stretch here, pretty much since like the new year, right around there.
We'll get to what the Hornets will do from here, but first, we'll get to a big play in that game. And a big play in the game was in the second quarter when, LaMelo Ball, people say he tripped Bam Adebayo, and Bam Adebayo left the game with a back injury. Spoelstra said that LaMelo should have been ejected. The question for me is, should he been ejected? And I'm like, no, he shouldn't have been ejected. I think that's some sour grapes from Eric Spoelstra. He should not have been ejected. I felt like he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything blatant. It wasn't blatant. He shouldn't have been ejected. And I don't think he should have been. I don't think he should have been ejected. I don't think he should be suspended. I don't think he should be. Now, should have been a flagrant foul? Yes, but I don't think he should have been ejected or suspended.
Yeah, I think he should have got a flagrant on that. Looked like kind of dangerous play. I thought the way he kind of grabbed him, his kind of ankle, like I don't know if he's trying to like break his fall. I don't know if he purposely tried to kind of knock over Bam Adebayo in that spot, but I think it should have at least been a flagrant. I feel like in a playing game in that spot, it'd be tough to eject LaMelo Ball. But I definitely think it should have been a flagrant at the very least because that looked like a dangerous play, and it's kind of teetering like on the line of kind of potentially taking him down there if he's trying to break his fall. So I thought there should have been a flagrant foul in that play.
Yeah. I think should have been a flagrant, but no ejection, no suspension. It wasn't intentional, shouldn't, but it was a hard foul. But yeah, it wasn't blatant. It wasn't blatant. So yeah, it was a hard foul, but it wasn't blatant. So no ejection, no suspension, and I think he should play Friday night against either the Sixers or the Magic. And this leads me to my next question: is where do the Hornets go from here? Honestly, I was a little bit disappointed with the Hornets last night. I know they got a good young squad, but that's a game they were a 6-point favorite in. And they were down 6 points away. Miami Heat team without Bam Adebayo. I see this team. I think they win the next game. I think they get into the playoffs. I think they get the 8th seed. But I don't see them. I think they lose the Pistons in 5. I think they do. I don't think they're good enough defensively, and I think they're too young. You saw Conker Nipples' youth last night. He didn't play well. I think they're too young. They're too inexperienced. I think they lose the Pistons, and I don't think they push the Pistons to 6. I think they lose them in 5. I was actually a little disappointed with the Hornets. I know they won the game. I know the Hornets won the game, but I was a little disappointed with them last night.
Yeah, with Charlotte, that was a game for me that you're going. I know Bam got hurt, but it's still kind of like most of those guys in the Heat have kind of been in the playoffs before. They've been in that playing spot before, so I figured Miami's gonna give them everything that they could handle. That's what they did. So I think for Charlotte, it's a good win to kind of pull out that victory. But yeah, I think they advance Friday because I know we'll get to the next game. But I don't love those 2 teams away. They're currently constructed, and what's coming out of those locker rooms right now, at least for one of the teams. So I think they could get the Pistons. I'm with you. Like I think they find a way to win either game 3 or game 4 at home, but I don't think they get it back to Charlotte for game 6.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I don't think so either. Yeah, I think as I said, I think they win against the. I think they win against the Magic or the Sixers. But I just don't think I don't think they give the Pistons a great series. I don't even though Cade Cunningham is just coming back. I don't think they do. I just don't think they're good enough defensively. I think they're too young. They're too inexperienced. But as you said earlier, they do have a great future. This team has a great future. They traded for Kobe White. Brandon Miller's a really good 3-point shooter. LaMelo Ball, when healthy, is a really, really good player. LaMelo, when healthy, is a really good player. They got Canupo, that definitely who I think is going to win, who I think and should win Rookie of the Year. So the Hornets got a great future, but I don't think they make a deep playoff run this year.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Since the All-Star break, they've made 18 threes per game at least. So, and they're shooting at about 39%. So, yeah, I think it's a team that's really come on here in the second half, and I think they're only going to get better here. And that division isn't great right now. So yeah, I'm with you. I think for first time in a long time, Charlotte looks like they do have a bright future, and they finally looks like they hit in a couple draft picks, and this is what can happen to a team like Charlotte. They finally got a couple things right, and looks like they finally have a bright future.
Exactly. They hit on Brendan Miller. They hit on Miller. They hit on Concanupal
The
and Concanupal. And look at what's happened. Look at what's happened. They're in a really good spot to get a really good future, and they're still playing. So give them credit for that. Definitely give the Hornets credit for that. Now, are the other play-in matchup is between the Magic and the Sixers, and they'll be the Hornets. So this will be the Hornets' opponent on Friday night in the in the game that will determine who will get the 8 seed and who will play the Pistons in the next round. And for me in this game, the Magic without Embiid they should win, but the way they're playing right now, I don't think they will. I think the Sixers are going to pull this thing out in Philly. I think they should without Embiid. I think they're going to pull it out in Philly. But the bigger question is though, if the Sixers lose tonight, or even if they don't, if they get swept to the Celtics, should they really consider moving on from Embiid? Should they really consider moving on from Embiid because he's never played a full season. He's never stayed healthy. When he's on the court, he's a top 15 to top 10 to top 15 player and won an MVP in 2023. But the guy can never stay healthy. It's as simple as that. But the question is should they move on? I think it's going to be hard to because his cap hit is $57 million going into 26-27. 62 million going into 27-28. I think the most realistic chance they really can move him is 28-29. So I think they're stuck with that contract. I think the Sixers are stuck with that contract. I mean, and I think it hurts them because for a guy that can't stay on the court, those are major cap hits for a guy that just can't stay on the court.
It is, and yeah, you mentioned the cap hits, and that's why like you can't even trade him because no other teams that take on that contract, unless it's the Sixers eat pretty much all of it. But I don't see, but why would they do so? So I'm with you. Like I think they're stuck with him until 2028, 2029. So yeah, he's a great player when he's on the floor, but yeah, as you mentioned, it hasn't been the case lately. So I'm with you here. I think they're gonna have to stick with him because it's just too much money to release him and nobody's going to trade for that contract. So yeah, they're going to be stuck with him, and it's a lot of money to pay him. But you got to just hope that one of these years. But it's tougher now as he's getting older.
Yeah, it sure is. It definitely is tougher now. It definitely is tougher now for the Sixers, and then for the Magic. If they lose this game, this is the obvious question: is should they get rid of Jamal Mosley? And absolutely, he needs to be fired. I mean, that was a disgrace. That was an absolute disgrace in Boston. The Celtics sat their top 7 guys. The Magic had a chance to get out of the play-in tournament, and they lost the game. That was a disgrace on Sunday in Boston. And that's why I think there's a very good chance they lose tonight in Philadelphia because I think Jamal Mosley is done. He's got to be fired.
Yeah, I'm with you. I even saw there's an article like a week ago. There's an unidentified star in Orlando that said he wants to be gone if Mosley comes back next year. So I'm with you. I think he's gone too if they lose this game. It's a very underwhelming year for Orlando. I thought they're going to be better. They traded the 4 first-round picks for Desmond Bane, and this year just maybe the most kind of disappointing teams in the NBA this year. I think
so.
I kind of had high hopes for this team.
Yep.
Yeah. So so disappointing year for Orlando. I'm with you. I think they have to get rid of him if they lose, especially if there is a star out. If it's true that there's a star in the team that doesn't want him back. The way the NBA goes, it's a player-led league.
Without question, without question, the NBA is a player-led league. Here we go. We got Frank in the chat. What's up, guys? Don't know if you guys spoke on the Miami game last night, but Miami needs a real star, a better team.
Yeah.
Frank's 100% right about that. Frank is 100% right about what he's saying. Yeah, they need a star. They need a star. I mean, it just shows Miami's in a spot where you don't want to be in the NBA. You don't want to be where they are because they have good players. Bam's a borderline all-star, but he's not a superstar. Hero's a good player. So they have good players. Wiggins is a decent player. They have good players, and they have a great coach in Eric Spoelstra, but they just don't have that star. And if you're in, and I've said it for years in the NBA, when you're in the position the Heat are in right now, it's a bad spot because you're just going to keep, getting knocked out in the play-in tournament, and you're not going to have a high enough pick to get a star. So yeah, the Heat might have to consider just tearing this thing down, to be honest. Because I know Bam got 83 in a game, but it's one of the most disrespected. I know he broke Kobe's record, but most people know Kobe Bryant had a much better game than Bam Adebayo did in that 83-point game.
Yeah, he did. He did. He didn't go to the line 55 times or whatever. How many attempts Bam had that night? Yeah. So I'm with you. Like, could you trade because this class is deep? Do you take the risk of trading one of those guys and trying to move up in this year's draft? And seeing hopefully one of those guys you get could be a star. Because you don't want to trade the heroes or Bam to go get an all-star. They've done a good job of developing Davion Mitchell.
Frank, look at Frank. 83 is 83. LOL. I get it. It was a great performance. It was not Kobe's. 83 is 83, but it wasn't Kobe's 81. That's for sure.
No, it was not. It was not. But so I'm with you. I don't think under Pat Riley they'll ever tear it down, but do you risk trying to trade a couple of these guys away to go get that star? It's a tough decision because you're right. They're in the middle of no man's land right now. They're like what the Steelers are. Just like you continue to be just over 500.
Really good comp with them and the Steelers. Really good comp with them and the Steelers. Yes, Frank says it. Frank says it. Start making trades and tear the team apart. Yeah, because they have to. But I just don't think that's in Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra's DNA to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's. Here's the thing: it goes the Heat go one or two ways. They either go out there and get Giannis, or they tear the thing apart. They got to go one or two ways because what's going on right now is not working.
No, it's not. It's not. And kind of with the Steelers too. It's like the Steelers will never win 4 games. The Heat they got that culture. They're never gonna. I don't think absolutely try to tear it down and rebuild. Yeah, I think Giannis is your best option now. You're probably gonna have to trade Hero, Bam, couple first-round picks. You're gonna have to trade the whole team, but they go get a Giannis, and then maybe that getting near Miami, you could attract some younger talent to come play Miami with Giannis. So, I'm with you. It's either Giannis or I don't think they'll tear it apart, but you have to think about it.
Yeah, you definitely. If you can't get Giannis, you definitely got to think about it. You got to think about starting from square one because what's going on right now with the Heat. It's just clearly not working. It's just clearly not working. These one and dones are losing in the play-in. It is just clearly not working. Now go back to the Magic and Sixers. We'll go back to them, and I think because we got a lot of we have a lot of Celtic fans listening, and whoever wins tonight will play the Celtics in the first round of the playoffs. But really, the question is who would the Celtics rather face, the Sixers or the Magic? I'd probably go the Magic because you saw what happened on Sunday. Yeah, they should beat either team in 5 easily. We're saying this with Jason Tatum still not being 100%, but he's at 80%, and Jaylen Brown's had a phenomenal season. So, but if you're the Celtics, I'd say the Magic, but to me, I'm confident they'll be either of these teams in 5 games. Either of these teams.
I'm with you. I'd rather face the Magic. Luka Garza, Ron Harper, Baylor Sharman combined for what? Almost 90 points, I think it was. Yeah. 84 points. The 3 of them combined for. So I'm with you. I think Celtics rather face them than Embiid potentially coming back maybe for a series, giving you a little bit of trouble. So I'm with you. This Magic team right now just does not seem like it's great in the locker room. And, the way they lost there on Sunday with a chance to host this thing, and that's how you go out and play, is disappointing. So, if I'm Boston, you definitely want to face the Magic over the Sixers, which have given you a couple of tough series in the past.
Yeah, they definitely have. Now, Who do you think wins it tonight? Sixers or Magic? I'm going six. I'm going Sixers. I think Tyrese Maxey is a huge game, and he gets the Sixers into the first round. Now I think the Sixers lose. The Sixers Celtics series doesn't go more than 5 games, but I will take the Sixers tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to take the Sixers too. I trust them more right now. I can't trust this Orlando team again. What Boston's able to do to them Sunday, even though I would Embiid, I think, yeah, Maxey has a good game, and Sixers shoot the ball well enough from three, and they knock off Orlando here.
All righty, so we both have the Sixers advancing to the first round, and we have the Magic hosting the Hornets on Friday night. We will now go to the 3-6 series in the East, and that's between the Knicks and the Hawks. And the Hawks have been playing really well since the Trae Young trade. They've been playing well since the Trae Young trade. The Knicks been up and down this year. Been a little bit. I mean, they won 53 games, but they were expected to win 53. I mean, they were expected to be the favorite to come out of the East to get to the NBA Finals. So the Knicks right now in the 3 seed, winning 53 games. They take on the Hawks in this series, and I think the Knicks are going to win this. I think the Knicks are going to win this in 6 because there's not a player on the Hawks that has the playoff experience that Jalen Brunson has or has played to the level that Jalen Brunson has. I think Jalen Brunson has a huge series. I think it's a big series, and Cat has a good series, and Josh Hart plays well. I think Atlanta might take a game. I think where they take a game, I think they maybe take game 3, maybe game 5, and the Knicks close it out in Atlanta for 6. Jalen Johnson's a really good player, but he lacks playoff experience. The one guy who destroyed the Knicks was traded. He was no longer on the Hawks and Trae Young. So I'm going Knicks in 6 here. I'm going with my Knicks in 6 games here. I'm going with my Knicks. The Knicks don't win this series. Mike Brown's got to be fired. They got to tear this team. They got to break this team up, and Mike Brown has got to be fired. They don't win this series. This is a series they absolutely have to win. They absolutely have to win this series. The Knicks absolutely have to win this series. So I got the Knicks winning this one in 6 over the Hawks. But Justin, can Jalen Johnson lead the Hawks to an upset win over the Knicks?
No, I'm with you. I think the Knicks get it done in 6 games as well here. And look, ever since they fired Thibodeau, whoever's going to take over this job, it was going to start now in the playoffs of, determining, this is the right move or not. So this is kind of the building towards this moment. I think if Atlanta has any chance to win the series, I think they got to get the Knicks into a puts the pace type of game, kind of attract me. I think Atlanta's defense has got better, but I still don't think they're great defending the paint. And I think that's where Cat and Mitchell Robinson kind of exposed Atlanta here in this one. So I do like your Knicks. I think Jalen Brunson plays well. I think Karl-Anthony Towns plays well. I thought the two of them really started to kind of figure some things out towards the end, and like Mike Brown figured out how to use the two of them. So I expect the Knicks here to go out. I expect Atlanta to give them some resistance here, but I think the Knicks should be able to win this thing in at least 6 games.
Yeah, I think they do. I think they win in at least 6. They're just clearly the better team. If you're drafting the first 3 guys, you're taking Brunson 1, you're taking Jalen Johnson 2, and I'm being generous saying that. You're taking Jalen Johnson 2, you're taking Cat 3. 2 of the first 3 guys are definitely, without question, Knick players, and the rest, it's a toss up between OG and McCollum and Nickel Walker-Alexander. Now that's a key. Walker-Alexander. The Knicks can't let Walker-Alexander get hot. Because if he gets hot, that will give the Hawks a chance.
Yeah, well, because he's a good perimeter shooter, and I think he's also a good perimeter. I think he's actually a really good defender as well. So, so if he's somebody that, if the Knicks can't keep in check, he kind of be the X factor in that series. So I do like that from you because he's a good player. We've seen him before in Minnesota. Minnesota have a couple good series in the past.
Oh yeah, and he could against the Knicks, but at the end of the day, this is a series the Knicks have to win. They have to win this, and they've been consistent in the first round. They've won the last 3 first round series they won against they beat the Sixers 2 years ago. They beat the Cavs 3 years ago, and they beat the Pistons last year. So they've won their last 3 first round series since Jalen Brunson's been there. They're 3-0 in the first round of the playoffs, and I think they go to 4-0 here. It's hard for me to see them not go to 4-0 in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it would be a very disappointing ending to the season if they somehow lose to Atlanta team that's been playing really well, but this Knicks team's still better than them. So I'm with you. I think this Knicks team's able to take care of business here, and they get the win because, Atlanta's a good, Atlanta's figured it out, and I'm not shocked that, that they figured it out since the Trae Young trade. I'm really not. But yeah, I'm with you. I think the Knicks take care of business, and maybe, probably the Eastern Conference Finals is Boston. Like whoever wins that Boston Knicks series is probably going to the NBA Finals. So that's what this whole year's the expectation for the Knicks is to get there. So we'll see.
They got to. They got to get to the NBA. I will say this: if the Knicks don't get to the NBA Finals, the season's a disappointment. If they don't get to the NBA Finals, the season's a disappointment because the team that has owned them the last 2 years, they aren't in the playoffs. This is their year. It's kind of similar to '94 when Jordan retired, and they were the kryptonite to the Knicks. And Jordan retired his first retirement, and the Knicks got to the finals in '94. It's very similar to '94 with the Knicks, where they have got to get to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, no, I like that. They do. Yeah, the Pacers are gone. The Celtics team that you got last year, I know, Tatum the series is over by the time Tatum got hurt already. So, or just about over. So, look, Missoula, that Boston seems to be out for blood. And hey, even if you got to play the Pistons again, that's a team you beat 2 last year. You mentioned a few minutes ago. So you potentially got 2 teams that you got to play in front of you that you knocked off last year who are going to be out for blood this time around. So the Knicks, if they get out of this thing, is going to be challenged. But yeah, it's the expectations all year have been to get there. And I like Mike Brown. I think he's a solid head coach. It's a tough spot for him to take over this job, but it'd definitely be a disappointment because this was the year without Halliburton being healthy that the Knicks get it done.
Without question. This is their year. To me, this is their year to get to the NBA Finals. Now we move on to the 4-5 matchup between the Raptors and the Cavs. And with the way the Cavs have played during the regular season, I think the Raptors will push them. But again, just like the Knicks and Hawks, at the end of the day, the Cavs are the better team. With Harden, with Donovan Mitchell, with Evan Mobley, they're just the better team. Scotty Barnes is an all-star, but he's not a superstar like Donovan Mitchell. RJ Barrett has played well. Brandon Ingram has played well. Those are good players, but the Cavs are just clearly the better team, and that's why I think they win it in 6. But Justin, can Scotty Barnes lead the Raptors to an upset win?
I think so. I got the Cavs at 7 here. I think Toronto will take them to the limit. Yeah, I like this Toronto team. Quickly. If he's back healthy, they're a little bit ahead. RJ Barrett. I don't love Brandon Ingram. But I think this Toronto team could give them some problems. If Cleveland, like their biggest thing in the playoffs is the ability to shoot the basketball. In these playoff series, has gotten them beat. That's why they bring in a guy like James Harden here. I know he's been good mostly in the playoffs here, and I think he has got a pretty good series. But I do think the Raptors take him the distance here because it's just a Cleveland team that I just don't fully trust him yet. And I think Toronto could take him to the limit because it's a Toronto team that really has exceeded expectations this year. They got really, they can go out there kind of play free and easy. And Cleveland's got some pressure on them to win the series.
Yeah, Cleveland definitely has pressure. And again, that's another team that has pressure. They made the James Harden trade. They got pressure to make a run too. Because if they lose, say they lose in the second round again, I feel like their season's a disappointment as well.
Yeah, it would be because it's their third out of the last 4 years they've been eliminated in the second round.
If it'd be the third year in a row, they'd be eliminated if they get eliminated this year.
Yeah, and with Mitchell and now you bring in Harden, so yeah, it'd be disappointing for Cleveland because it felt like this team's done a really good job of kind of building, and they just haven't been able to get over this hump after the semifinal round. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of pressure there because that's another organization. Do you try to change some things up? Do you make a couple trades? You get eliminated again early, because I know. Because Harden's only getting older. I know you're stuck with him in a couple of years. Mitchell's got a couple of years left on his deal, but you wonder if they really kind of change some things if they lose again in the semis.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's another series the Cavs should win over the Raptors, and they should. For them to have a successful year, they got to get to the conference finals. But we will move on to the Western Conference, and they had a playing game, 7-8 game last night with the Blazers and the Suns. The Suns were up, 10 points with like 6 minutes to go, 10, 11 points with 6 minutes to go. But Denny Avdia ends up taking over 41 points, has the huge play to win the game for the Blazers. One of the most underrated players in the league. Avdia proved last night why he's one of the most underrated players in the league. Dropped 41 points for the Blazers. Blazers move on to face the Spurs. But, I think the story of last night's game was Avdia. Proved why he's one of the most underrated players in the NBA.
Absolutely. The Wizards gave up on him too early. And he's really excelled since getting to Portland. And the intern coach Splitter deserves a ton of credit too because
without question.
With
the situation he was in with the Chauncey Billups situation, absolutely. What were we gonna say?
Yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, like the job that he's done. I never liked Chauncey Billups as a head coach. But taking over the first week of the year like he did, and this Portland team's really they had some good young pieces. Klingon had an unbelievable year.
I would
Mentioned
say
Lavi's had
unbelievable.
a great year.
I'd say good second year.
Great defensive.
Great
Defensive.
defensive.
Defensively.
Defensive. Yes.
Offensively, his game's improving. That's his
Yeah.
offensive game's been improving. So,
Yeah.
I like this Florida team, but I think they're a couple years away yet from really contending here, and another couple years away. But credit to them. They're down 10 there, and a young team on the road in Phoenix to another team that's had good success this year. And I didn't really think they were going to do much at all this year. So, good for Portland there and Avia to down 10 there with 6 minutes after being up most of that game, take over and find a way to win that basketball game.
Yeah, a lot of credit to Thiago Splitter, a lot of credit to Denny Advia to get to the first round of the playoffs and take on the Spurs. It's funny, Thiago Splitter's facing his former team against the Spurs. But I think in this series, I think this is going to be a 5-game series. I know the Spurs lack playoff experience, but so do the Blazers. So I think the Spurs is too talent with Wemby, who's a superstar, with Fox, who's an all-star, with Steph Castle. I think it's gonna be Spurs in 5 here in the first round against the Blazers.
Yeah, I think the Spurs win this thing in 5 as well here. Yeah, I think the Portland gets one here at home. But I think Portland's great. It's getting second chance opportunities off the glass. So, but the Spurs, they got Wemby's got some size there, and I think they could kind of keep them in check there. So, tough matchup for Klingon that he's got to try to slow down Wemby. It's a difficult matchup. So, I think San Antonio here takes this thing in 5.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's San Antonio in 5. Now there is another play-in tournament game tonight, the 9-10 game between the Clippers, Clippers and the Warriors. And really, the big question going into this game is who needs this win more? Which star needs this win more? Is it Steph Curry or is it Kawhi Leonard? And for me, it's pretty obvious. It's Kawhi Leonard. I mean, really, his era with the Clippers has been a little bit disappointing after they traded for him. After they traded for him, or they signed him. So it's been a little bit of a disappointment. It's been a little his year has been a little bit of a disappointment because it's been a lot of first round and second round exits. They've only made one conference final. That was in 2021. That was in 2021. So they only made one conference final with Kawhi Leonard. He just had trouble staying healthy. I think he's got to win this game. I think he definitely has to win this game, or they can continue to break up this team just like they did trading James Harden at the trade deadline. The Warriors, they lost Jimmy Butler. Steph's trying to carry this team. Steph has still been a top 10 player in the league. He's still playing when healthy. He's still played really well. So I think the Clippers, there's more pressure on Kawhi to win this game than there is for Steph.
Yeah, I'm with you there. There's this Kawhi Leonard, with LA, it's definitely been a little bit underwhelming. You kind of thought that maybe this is finally the chance for the Clippers to finally take that next step and rival kind of Lakers in the Western Conference, finally get their kind of chance like glory. It just hasn't happened yet. And the Clippers too got off to such a bad start. They were 6-21 to start. I think they ended the year like 36-19. So they played well here down the stretch. And yeah, you mentioned with the Warriors, like with the Butler injury, they just rely so much on Steph Curry to kind of do everything for them. And I think this Clippers team, the way they've been playing down the stretch here, I think that's going to be too much to overcome. And I do like the Clippers here as well with you.
Yeah, I think the Clippers. Yeah, I think the Clippers get it done here. I think the Clippers get it done, and I think they play the Suns. They play the Suns in that winner take all game to get the 8 seed and play the. I mean, the whoever comes out of this is again the Thunder should beat the Clippers, the Warriors, or the Suns in 5 games. They should. And the Thunder are just that much better than any of these 3 teams. But I think the Clippers do get it done here. I think the Warriors not having Butler is going to hurt them in this situation.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I think not having Jimmy Butler is huge for this one, and I do think the Clippers at home here find a way to take care of business here and win this basketball game. And I think Kawhi is a big night.
Yeah, I think he does. I think Kawhi does, and I think the Clippers. So I think Friday night's going to be Magic, Hornets, and Clippers, Suns. The elimination games Friday night are going to be those games to end the play-in tournament. But we got to get to a big matchup but a matchup in the Western Conference. Got the 4-seeded Lakers, a 5-seeded Rockets. And the big question is can this, we said it last week, can this team make a run without Reeves and Luka? It looks like they're not going to have them. And I don't think it's going to help them because I think this Rockets team is going to win this series. I think they're going to win it. I think they're going to win it in they're going to win it in 5. I really think they're going to win this series in 5. I know. Listen, the Rockets aren't. Listen, if they had Luka and Reeves, I think the Lakers might win this series. I think they might win it. Just when you lose two of your top 3 players, and one who's clearly a top 4 player in the game without debate. He's top 4. Luka's top 4 without debate in this league. Top 4 without debate. So when you don't have that player, I think that hurts. LeBron at this stage in his career, he's still good, but he can't carry a team the way he used to. I'm going Rockets in 5 here. I think the Lakers go. It's going to happen. What's going to happen is what happened to them last year. I think they go down in 5. I'm going Rockets over the Lakers in 5. I don't love the Rockets, but I just think they're good enough to beat a banged up Laker team.
Yeah, that's right. I don't love them either. I feel like they're a little bit underwhelming this year. I know they're really good defensively. I can't really point my finger on like why they haven't taken that next step.
Van Fleet's been a loss. Van Fleet's been a loss.
Yeah,
and,
oh yeah,
KD is not a needle mover anymore. He's a good top 15 player, but he's not a needle mover anymore.
That's a good point. Yeah, KD's getting up there in age, and Van Vliet was been a nice kind of steady player for one more of the years. So, but I'm with you here. Like, I think the Rockets take this thing in 5. I know Luka's coming back to the U.S. on Friday, but like, we have no idea what his status is going to be. I don't think he's going to play, but who knows? With some of the European medicine that's legal over there, maybe maybe they accelerated his treatment and all that. But yeah, I think the Lakers win 1 game at home, but I do think the Rockets take care of business. I just love them defensively. I don't love the Lakers team either, kind of on the defensive end of the floor. I know they've gotten a little bit better, but I'll take I'm going to take this Rocket team because I do think they're a little bit better. I think they got I know they're not totally a great shooting team. I know they're a little bit better than they were last year, but I really like this Rocket team, and I'm with you. Like LeBron, just at his age, just can't carry this team to knock off this Rockets team right now.
And you mentioned LeBron. Is this it? Is this going to be it for him with the Lakers? I think this is it. This is definitely it because it's clear that it's Luka's team, and with the money LeBron with his cap hit, I just think it's hurting the Lakers build the team around Luka. I definitely think this is it. This will be the last series that LeBron is in the Lakers uniform, and this will obviously be the last season. I think this will be the last season. I think this will be the last season LeBron James is in a Laker uniform.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is going to be it for LeBron. Who knows where he's at next year if he retires? I think he plays one more season, but I'm with you. Like, it's Luka's team. We talked about it a couple months ago. Like, he was angry at when that article came out about he was upset with the Lakers. Again, he could have taken a pay cut if he disappointed how the Lakers think, but he didn't. That's on him. He's made enough money in his career where he could have taken a little bit of pay cut if he really wanted to go win another title. So, I'm with you. I think the relationship's kind of broken at this point, and I do think they move on from him, and we'll see where he goes. I hope not Golden State because I can't. I will have so much hate next year for the Warriors if him and Curry team up next year.
Yeah, it was enough for you to watch him on the Lakers. Yeah. And you're going to enjoy the Lakers losing, I bet, again in the first round.
I will. Even though my franchise will never be back here, I will always enjoy the Lakers losing in the first round.
Oh yeah, this is it. This is it for him. I think this is it. They move on from him and they build this thing around Luka. The way they should around a player like Luka Doncic. They'll build this thing. They got a gift from Nico Harrison to get Luka Doncic. Why not build it the way you should around Luka Doncic?
Yeah, they should. You got a package gift wrap to you, and it's time to build around them. It's time to build a team. You're the Lakers. You're always going to attract free agents. You're going to be able to attract guys to come play with Luka. He's such a young talent still. So I'm with you. I think it's time to build it around him, and I think I think this is going to be it for LeBron.
Oh, absolutely. I think this definitely is it for LeBron James. But we'll move on to the last series, and that is between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. And I know the T-Wolves beat them they beat them 2 years ago, but I think things are different now. I think the Nuggets with David Adelman, they're great. To me, the Nuggets are the biggest threat to the Thunder in the Western Conference. And you can argue they were last year because they took them to 7, and they were banged up. Aaron Gordon was banged up. They were banged up. They were the biggest threat last year. To me, the Nuggets are the biggest threat to the T-Wolves going into the biggest threat, my bad, to the Thunder going into the playoffs. And I know the T-Wolves beat them 2 years ago, but that was 2 years ago. And to me, the T-Wolves are they're not the same team. I think the relationship with Ant-Man and Chris Finch is not there. I don't think it is. I think they'll push them to 6, but I'm going Nuggets in 6 here. I'm going Nuggets in 6, and I think if the T-Wolves lose, this is it for Chris Finch because the relationship between him and Ant-Man is not working, and you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. They're going to get rid of the coach, and they're going to keep they're not because there's no way they're getting rid of Ant-Man. So I think the relationship is not clicking there. So I'm going with the Nuggets. If this goes to, it is a 5-game. It's a gentleman's sweep. Chris Finch has got to be gone. 7 games, maybe you consider keeping him, but I'm going Nuggets in 6, and Chris Finch being out as T-Wolves head coach at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm going Nuggets here in 5. I'm with you. Like, if the T-Wolves can't get it done, which I don't. Both of those seem like we believe that they're not going to get done here. I think it's time to move on because you mentioned, yeah, it's a players' league and the players are going to control these coaching decisions and all that. And yeah, I would not be shocked if Chris Finch gets let go here. And yeah, Timberwolves team all year has just been very inconsistent. And yeah, I'm with you. Like this Denver team, they're so banged up last year. I remember one of their beat writers was like in the locker room after Game 7, and Michael Porter Jr. couldn't even get a shirt off because his shoulder was bugging him that much. Like,
Yeah.
and they took the Thunder to 7. I think like the moves that they made to go get like Cameron Johnson's been huge. Like I think this team's got a little bit more depth than they had last year. I really like this Nuggets team, and Jokic still has proven why he's like the best player in the sport. The guy averaged almost 11 assists as well and 13 rebounds at 7-2, whatever he is. So he's insanely impressive and impressive, and I really like this Nuggets team, and I think they're going to roll, and I think they knock off Timberwolves here in 5 games.
Wow. So you think Chris Finch is done? You think Chris Finch is done after this year? Yeah. And yeah, I think So you think he's done? I think he's done too. I think he's done too because they're obviously going to side with Ant-Man. And I'm going Nuggets. I'm going Nuggets here. So we really don't have not really a lot of upsets because we go to the Eastern Conference. We think the Pistons will beat whoever gets that 8 seed in the East. We think the Celtics are going to win. We think the Knicks are gonna win. We think the Cavs are gonna win. And then over in the West, we got I know the Rockets are a lower seed, but they're the favorite. Without Luka and Reeves, they're the favorite. We got the Spurs and the Nuggets,
Thunder.
and then the Thunder.
I mean, not Nuggets, yeah.
Yeah, Nuggets,
No,
Spurs, and Thunder. So yeah, so we got, and realistically, let's be honest. There's really, to me, 7 teams that can win a championship right now. I mean, that's being generous because I think the team that makes it out of the East, all you got to do is beat one team in the West. You know, the top 3 teams in the league, in my opinion, the Spurs, Nuggets, and the Thunder. So they're in the Western Conference, but there's really 7 teams to me. It's the Thunder, it's the Spurs, it's the Nuggets, it's the Celtics, it's the Knicks, it's the Cavs, and the Pistons. To me, those are the 7 teams that could win this thing.
I went 6. I don't know if the Cavs can or not.
Yeah,
I just have to see it from them.
You're right about the Cavs. They just can't get out of the second round with Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, they can't. And I don't love James Harden. Like, I know he's had some good playoff success. So I think 6. I get why, because I think Cleveland has the talent to do it. I just need to see them kind of knock down that door first before I believe you. And if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, then I'll start kind of believing that team. But I'm with you. I think the other ones that you had, I'm all with you. Because yeah, the Thunder, Nuggets, Spurs, those 3 teams are really, really good. Yeah, the Knicks, Celtics do it as well. And even the Pistons as well. My one word to Pistons is, can they make enough shots? I love their defense, but like, can they do it again like they did in 04 with that defensive? But it's a different league now,
Exactly.
That's my one worry, but Pistons. But for the most part, I am with you there. And that's usually what the NBA playoffs are like. Usually, the first round of the NBA playoffs aren't great. Usually, it's like when you get to the semis, the conference finals is really when like the NBA playoffs. For me, when it really starts to kind of heat up.
Yeah. It does. It does heat up. Yeah, the first round is tough because you get a lot of matchups where the team that's expected to win. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But we talked about Chris Finch potentially losing a job if the T-Wolves get bounced in the first round. We'll talk about a coach who did lose his job, but now is being considered as an advisor. That they're now talking about Doc Rivers being in an advisory role. So the Bucks move on from Doc Rivers. And listen, this is the right move. He's not. I mean, him and Giannis were not clicking. And then he's saying, "Look at my resume." Listen, I am one person who will admit that I think Doc Rivers is a good coach, guys. It's crazy that he's going to the Hall of Fame and Bill Belichick isn't this year. That's insane. But I'll admit he's a good coach because he won a championship and he almost won another championship. But there have been I can't say he's great because there have been so many times in his career where he's had a 3-1 lead. He can't hold it. He's underachieved. I felt like he underachieved in Orlando. I felt like he underachieved with the Clippers. He's definitely underachieved. He underachieved with the Sixers. He's definitely underachieved with the Bucks. So he definitely has not helped since 2008, since 2010. I'll be fair. Since 2010, when he lost in the finals to the Lakers, he definitely has not. Doc has definitely not helped his cause since 2010. That's for the last 15 years. Doc has definitely not helped his cause, but he's still going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, which is crazy. He's an all right coach. Like, yeah, he's gotten a team to playoffs, but as you mentioned, he's blown a lot of 3-1 leads and unexcusable 3-1 leads in the past. So I don't love Doc. He was bad on TV. I hope he doesn't go back to TV because he was not actually he's being an advisor anyways, right? I did not like him on TV.
Advisor, yep.
That's good. I can't listen back on ESPN again. He was awful. Him and Doris Burke doing a couple. Oh, they're so bad. But yeah, I just don't love. Kurt Signetti should be offended that that Doc Rivers did, kind of took his page out of the book, with like, look at my, Google me, what Doc said. Like, Signetti's going to use that somehow for motivation this year. But yeah, the Giannis kind of Doc Rivers thing never matched. They never kind of figured it out. I just think he never used Andre Jackson, who's like I know he's not a great player, but the dude's a winning player that makes winning plays.
Of course you defend the UConn. Of course you defend the UConn guy.
Every time I watched the Bucks and he was in, he made winning plays. You can't give him a shot, Doc. Like if he go thrive in an organization like that knows how to use him. He'd go thrive, but Doc didn't know how to use him. So, yeah, it's unfortunate that the Bucks have really screwed this up. That Giannis landed in your lap and you've only won one title and you're gonna have to blow it up now. So, and that's on Doc. Some of it's on Doc, some of it's on the front office. But that was a horrible hire to go out and get him, and that was just it was bad for that team not even to make a play in. That is just so bad.
Oh, it's embarrassing. You have a top 4 player, no debate in the sport. You can't even make the play-in tournament. Yeah. That's an embarrassment. Yeah. Total embarrassment.
It's bad. Like, yeah, it was. Like bringing in Damian Lillard, I get it, but like Drew Holiday was a good, solid player for you. They held on to Chris Middleton way too long. They didn't make the right moves. Like I don't. Like it was just a masterclass of how to screw this thing up so badly as they did. So yeah, that's part of it. Some of it's on the front office as well. But yeah, I'm not shocked the Bucks moved on. And good luck to kind of taking through that job because you're probably not going to have Giannis. They're probably going to go into a rebuild. So it's unfortunate for the Bucks that they're only get one title probably out of this. But good move for the Bucks to move on from Doc. But I'm shocked that they're going to bring him on as an advisor.
It's crazy they're moving him on, bring him as advisor, and Giannis will probably be gone. So this team will be it'll be even worse next year. So yeah, good luck. Yeah, good luck to whoever takes that job. Good luck to whoever does that. Now we'll shift our attention to the NFL, and before we get to the big story that's been talked about for a week, we'll talk about another story that's been talked about for a week, and that's with Dexter Lawrence. And it looked like things were making progress, but now they're in impact. Dexter Lawrence and the Giants contract talks are at an impact. And it looks like he's going to be traded. I know it's very unfortunate. It looks like they're going to, and Joe Shane yesterday made me sick, saying the contract talks are going well between. Stop it. Just stop. You should be fired after the draft. You're terrible. This is the reason why Dex the point that he's at. It's because of Joe Shane. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I unfortunately I think he's probably going to go. But here's the thing: if they're going to trade Dexter Lawrence, they better get a first round pick for him. They better. I get it. Wouldn't like if they get a first round pick. That's not in the top 15. That's below the top 15. But I can at least live with it. I can accept it. But if they're trading Dex for a second round pick, I am going to be so upset, and I'm going to be upset. And I want Joe Shane fired right after that. I want Joe Shane fired right after that because this is the reason why Dex is in the state he's in. Joe Shane could for 2 years he wanted an extension. Joe Shane wouldn't give it to him. They bring back Brian Dable and Joe Shane last year. Shane Bowen last year. You think he's going to be happy about that? No. And I think, to be fair, John Harbaugh probably looked at his tape from last year and said, "You're really not worth giving an extension to." But I just hope that at the last hour, Harbaugh and him could just figure something out because Shane's not figuring anything out with him. Shane's not going to figure anything out with him. Harbaugh, Don Aponte, and John Harbaugh got to step in and figure something out because it's not good at all right now with Dexter Lawrence and the Giants.
No, it's not. And I'm going to take the same stance I had last week. If he really, I wouldn't trade him. I'd make him sit out for 2 years and threaten that on him and see what happens because I don't think he'd sit out for 2 years. I don't think he's that dumb and ruin his career. But that's just me. But yeah, if they were to trade him, you'd have to absolutely get a first round pick. It is a masterclass of how the Giants messed this up. But like, again, I don't blame the Giants. Why go give him another extension? We've got 2 years left, and he's coming off the year he did. I have no issues with the Giants not giving the contract. This is just, I get the Giants have been a disaster, but like, I would get his point maybe if Dable was still there, but I still probably wouldn't, because like, you signed the contract a couple years ago. You know this organization was already a mess. Leave when that original contract, leave your original contracts up. So I still don't. I think the Giants. I know they're acting like they don't have the leverage, but you still do. You can threaten him to sit out for 2 years and not, he won't do it. So, they do trade him. They definitely have to get a first round pick, but I'd make him sit out and see if he won't do it. I guarantee you he would come back at some point because, and again, at the year he doesn't deserve to re-up his contract. He just doesn't. I'm sorry. And again, if the players have this right to do this, then the Giants should have the right to say, you did not have a productive year. We're going to take money away from your contract. The players get to do this. So I think it's ridiculous, but I'm not in the front office. I'm not an agent. So, I don't know. I can't stand that kind of part of the league.
Yeah, and if you're John Harbaugh, you're Don Aponte, you're probably looking at last year and saying, there's no way we're giving you an extension for the play you've had. But as I said last week, I'm looking at what he did from 2022 to 2024, and I just, as a fan, really want to see him play with John Harbaugh because I think my biggest fear, and I said it last week, he's going to go to like the Chargers or the Bears. He's going to be a beast there, and we're going to be seriously regretting trading him. We're going to seriously be regretting trading him. Now, I get that Harbaugh and Don Aponte don't want to give him this extension because you look at last year's film, it was not worth. If you're looking at last year's film, he's worth what he's worth getting paid. But if you look at the film from 2022 to 2024, he should be getting 30 plus. He should be getting 30 million a year. He should be. But seeing what happened last year, he shouldn't be. So, but at the end of the day, I think the Giants should just pay the suck tax, give him the 30 plus million, and work this thing out. Because I just don't want to see another top player leave the building like I've had to see with Saquon Barkley and Xavier McKinney and Julian. I'm not saying Julian Love's a top player, but what I had to see with Saquon Barkley and Xavier McKinney, I just don't want to see that again.
Yeah, I get it. It's frustrating, and things are finally kind of looking up this offseason, going into it. Like, where you got Harbaugh, he's kind of got some power now in the organization. It's kind of, Shane's kind of, walking on thin ice right now.
Better be walking on thin ice for what he's done here the last 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, so I get your point of, like, you just want things to go in the right direction, and you want Dexter Lawrence and the organization to figure this out, and hopefully they do. I don't know, but again, like, the Giants have leverage here. They don't have to trade him. They can make him sit out, and he won't. I think he'd be dumb to sit out for the next few years because then he ain't getting any more money in this league. He's not. He might as well just play. And that's why I think the Giants have leverage, but like, they're not using it. I get it. I get it from the point of you probably don't want to set this example because then, other players probably don't want to come here. But like, you can't let the players walk over. It's like the same thing. Like, look what the NBA's turned into.
I know.
Nobody's got any power inside the players. Silver now has no power, and he's absolutely ruining everything that David Stern built in that league.
Yep. But I think it's going to go one or two ways. They're either going to pay him or they're going to trade him because John Harbaugh doesn't want this to be. I feel like Harbaugh does not want this to be a distraction. So I think they're either going to pay him, and it's going to happen. If they trade him, it's going to happen soon because they're close to the draft, and they want to get a pick this year. They want to say he wants to go to the Chargers. They might want to get another another first round pick, which would irritate me getting a late first because that the player they get, even if it's a if it's McDonald, the defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Caleb Banks, he's not, to me, I don't think, who knows if he's going to become Dexter Lawrence. So to me, I think how this ends is either gets a new deal or they trade him. I think that's how it's going to be. I just don't think John Harbaugh wants it to be a distraction.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I think they trade him, figures out a way that they ended up paying him the money. So I'm with you. I'd save that pick for next year. I don't love this class. I get an extra one for next year because I think next year's class is better than this year's, but we'll see. And I know with a week before the draft, maybe Giants, but they could wait the next year to get a couple of picks. That's where I would use them. But I know you probably want something for this year, but unless you do trade them and maybe you kind of end up going, this year's kind of let's win 4 or 5 games and get a good pick next year, and maybe you get a second one with it. Something like the Jets have done, just stockpile, especially for next year, because next year class should be better.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you, I don't think the Giants are going to want to win 4 or 5. I don't think John Harbaugh is going to want to win 4 or 5 games with Jackson Dart. And that's the thing too is you could afford to pay a suck tax and give him $30 million because you got a quarterback on a rookie deal. You got a quarterback on a rookie deal, so you could afford to do that. That's why, in my opinion, I just want them to do that because we keep the player, even if you overpay him. Yeah, I know you'll overpay him, but still, you keep a top player in the building, which is something the Giants just have not done. And it would show to me that the culture is changing because the Giants, with Joe Shane making the final decisions, have let top players walk away, as we've seen with Xavier McKinney and Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, because you're gonna have to pay the tax if you haven't been good the last couple of years. That you're gonna have to pay up, and yeah, you're gonna have to try to do everything to keep this guy here. And yeah, and I know Harbaugh probably doesn't want to win 4 or 5 games, but you lose a guy like Dexter, it's gonna hurt your defense. You hope Dart's in that offense is even better this year. So, and that schedule's not as difficult. So, you should win a couple more games. But yeah, I get why you want to keep him. I get you don't want another guy to leave that building because I know the Barkley one had to hurt so much to watch him go win a Super Bowl the next year. So I get, yeah, where you don't want to go see him be a stud somewhere else, especially maybe in your own conference. I can't imagine they trade him to the own division. But yeah, I definitely get it. So I'm with you. I think they probably end up trading or giving the contract, but I do think it's probably right now leans more towards they trade him.
Yeah, I think it does too. Unfortunately, I think it's leaning towards that they are going to trade Dexter Lawrence within the next week. I feel like they're going to trade Dexter Lawrence within the next week. But we got to hit something here. Last week we avoided it, but I think it's unavoidable at this point. The Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini at a private location in Sedona were found hugging and holding hands. This is Diana Rossini already resigned from the Athletic. So to me, I feel like this is happening. I think we could kind of use the Patriot and Vrabel angle here. I think what doesn't look good for Mike Vrabel is he denied it. Completely denied it. He completely denied it right off the bat. He denied it. Said, "Oh, this is laughable. This is an innocent interaction, and it's laughable if anybody thinks anything different." But now you see Diana Rossini resigning from the Athletic. So to me, that's admitting guilt. That's admitting guilt that this did happen. So to me, that's admitting guilt. And you can see the pictures. Pretty obvious that something was going on between the two of them. Mm-hmm. It's pretty obvious something was going on between the two of them. Now, Diana Rossini has much more to lose than Mike Vrabel. Diana Rossini's already resigned from her. She was a top NFL reporter. Now she's resigned from the Athletic. Mike Vrabel is more than likely not getting fired over this. He's more than likely not getting fired over this. But I think where this could hurt the team and him not – and I know there were a lot of people have been getting on about the press conference, the pre-draft press conference. But I think that was already planned that Elliot Wolf was the only one who was going to speak at that press conference. But – Mike Vrabel really, ever since Tuesday night, really hasn't addressed this issue at all. He hasn't addressed the issue at all, and and this has been a topic for a week. I think he's got to address this. And Michael Holley said it the other day on NBC Sports Boston. He's got to address this because this definitely could linger. It's hard enough to get back to a Super Bowl without any distractions. Only one team since '93 has done it. That was the 2018 Patriots. It's hard enough to get back to a Super Bowl without no distractions. And seeing what's going on now, this is clearly a distraction. I feel like this is clearly a distraction to this team.
Yeah, it totally could be. This team gets off to a 2-3, 1-4 start. This is what everyone's going to bring up is, well, he's out having fun with, mistress and, all that stuff. And yeah, and it's not great. I think this has been going on for a while, though, because if she was always the first one to bring up AJ Brown to the Patriots. She was always the first one, it seemed like.
This has definitely been going on. This has definitely been going on. Yeah. The AJ Brown stuff, this has definitely been going on.
Yeah, and remember, I think she was on with Zolak and Bertrand during the with the Super Bowl week. Remember she brought up Max Crosby wants to come to New England?
Yeah, I know.
Where do you think she's getting that info from now?
Mike Vrabel. That's where she's getting the info from. Mike Vrabel. Absolutely, she's getting the info from Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, so look, if this thing didn't happen either, Diana Rossini said she was on a girl show. Where are her friends, or where are the pictures with her friends?
Where are the 6 friends? Where are they speaking up? They're nowhere to be speaking up because it was just you and Mike Vrabel on this trip. And Vrabel, I think it was when he was in Arizona State, he was in an Arizona State Pro Day. You drive 2 hours to Sedona to meet up with people. Come on, stop. Yeah. you guys were together. Just stop the line.
Yeah.
You need to address Vrabel's got to. I feel like Vrabel's got to address the team because I think this definitely could be an issue for this Patriot team going forward.
No, it could, because like right now, this is kind of all that's out there, and he's not getting fired over it. It's probably strike one. It's not great.
Question, yes.
Yeah, it's strike one. So yeah, it's not great. I just her resignation letter was pretty pathetic. That was no accountability. I'm not taking any blame for this, but he's got to address it at some point. Maybe it's next Friday maybe it's like Saturday night, Sunday, whenever he does the post-draft presser. Maybe he just comes out, has a quick statement, says I'm not taking any questions about it, and moves on to the draft stuff. But because the team gets out to a slow start. That's all anybody's going to be talking about. So it's not great. I don't love that my head coach is doing this after what my last coach did the same thing with caught in the Zoom camera or not Zoom. Whatever the outside camera. But it's not great. So I don't love it. As a Pats fan, and I hope this doesn't turn into a distraction, but this is all anybody's talking about right now in the NFL world. And I know the draft class isn't great, but we're a week away, and this is kind of all anybody's talking about in the NFL right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is this has been for a week. It's been the lead story. It's been the lead story for a week. It kind of came out right before our show last week. We kind of just wanted to stay away from it because we didn't know if the pictures were photoshopped or not. But now seeing that Diana Rossini resigned from her job at the Athletic didn't fight this, I think I'm pretty sure those photos were not those pictures weren't photographed, and they were there. So yeah, say Vrabel goes into a team meeting and tells the team eliminate distractions. You caused the biggest distraction maybe in the league in the offseason, seeing the way this story is going.
No, it definitely has. It's a great point because this is all anybody's talking about. Yeah, you're coming off a loss in the Super Bowl, and this is kind of what's going on right now. It's not great, and it's a total distraction to the team. And I know there's not a ton, but he's at Arizona State Pro Day and he drives 2 hours away. Shouldn't he be? You got a week before the draft. You're not watching film. This is, this is what's got Scott Frost got himself in trouble for doing this. Not with a reporter, but at Nebraska, he got caught cheating at Nebraska, and that pretty much, was a huge distraction there. I feel like as your NFL coach, you shouldn't have the time to be doing this stuff. So it's you putting in the hours that you. I know they were great last year, and I know she even was the first one to report that he got fired from Tennessee. So this has been going on for a while, but it's still
it might have been going on when they were in Tennessee together. She was covering the Titans since 2018. She started covering the Titans at ESPN in 2018.
Yeah, so that's probably been going on that long. You're pretty close to it. So so that's why there's part of me. All right, it really hasn't been that big of a distraction up till now, but it's still where's this guy extra time going? Because I know he does have a family. It's the time that you should be away from the football field should be not your family, not with Diana Rossini.
Exactly. So so this story, we're here talking about it a week later. Vrabel's got to address this, and there's going to be questions. There's going to be when he comes into and let me tell you, I don't think, and I know the Boston media didn't really pepper Elliott Wolf with any questions, about it, this week when he has pre-draft presser, but they're going to be next week. Vrabel better be ready because I feel like there's going to be questions asked to him that he's going to have to answer about this issue. So we'll see what ends up happening there. Crazy story that is continuing to go on with Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini. But to wrap the show, we got to do a weekly check-in on the Yankees and Red Sox, and it has not been good for the Yankees recently. I mean, they were lucky. They're lucky they have not lost 7 in a row. They're lucky they haven't lost 7 in a row because they very easily could have lost on Monday, but thanks to Aaron Judge and Trent Grisham, 2 home runs. Aaron Judge has been hot. He's been hot. Ben Rice has been hot. To me, the offense has been okay. I think Rice has been hot. Stanton's hit the ball pretty well. But the issue is Belly, Chisholm hitting under 200. Grisham, outside of that one game, he struggled. They picked up his option. He's really struggled. So this offense has been very mediocre. Outside of that one game against the Angels. Starting pitching, I know they've had 2 really bad starts with Weathers and Warren, but let's be honest, those guys in June will probably not be in the rotation, so I can live with that. I could live with 2 bad starts. I could live with bad starting pitching because some of these guys won't even be in the rotation in June because with Cole coming back, with Rodon coming back, and with Clark Schmidt coming back, some of these guys won't even be in the rotation come June, so I can live with that. Another thing which is underrated about this team is the bullpen. Camilo Duvall has been terrible. Give up that home run to Mike Trout
The
on Monday.
stuff's good, though, according to Boone. The stuff's good.
The stuff is good. It's not good. It's not good. And that's why I'm starting to move closer to you with Boone that he needs to go.
Thank you. I'm glad.
I'm starting to move closer to you with Boone. He needs to go. Oh, the stuff is good. I don't want to hear about the stuff and the guy who's up a 2-run over to Mike Trout. Okay, I don't want to hear about the stuff. I don't want to hear about the stuff. How about you get guys out, do your job, and get guys out? And Ben Darn has struggled as well. He blew the save on Saturday against the Rays. 2 games they've had the lead in the 8th inning. The last Marlin game of that series and the Ray game on Saturday, they haven't won those games. So right now, yeah, I'm not going to panic, but they're just not playing well. The Yankees are just not playing well right now. They've lost 6 after starting 8-2. They're right now 9-8. You know, right now, and in second place in the division. So this thing has got to get better. And Justin, I'll let you talk about him. You were not as high as me on the Yankees. Are you already done seeing that Aaron Boone is still the manager?
It's 3 weeks in, but like I'm at the point with Aaron Boone. Like I'd rather just see the robot. I'd rather just have a robot. He should, instead of dressing up like an actual kind of, all the MLB coaches dress up like they're still a player. He should dress up as a clown because that's what he closest resembles himself to, is a clown than a baseball manager. Because he's a moron. I'm done with it. How do you not read Detmers? I know he's a lefty, but I don't care. Start Ben Rice. It's one of the hottest hitters in baseball.
Oh, that's another thing. Stop the platooning, too. Stop the platooning, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
You lost 5 or 6. Play the guy. These games mean something at this point. I'm like, you just, again, with this division, every manager in this division owns Aaron Boone. The Rays had, 7 bunts this week? I think 6 of them turned into a hit because we have no idea where to go with the baseball. We have no idea what base to cover. This is stuff you should know when you're 8 years old. This is stuff that they should work on in string training. But what the Yankees work on is launch angle. Launch angle. No fundamentals. They haven't had fundamentals in years. That's why Toronto beat them last year. That's why they're losing the playoffs again this year, because it's the same exact team that have no idea how to play baseball. I can go watch Little League right now, and they'll probably have better fundamentals this Yankee team does. It drives me insane. I am so done with it. I am so done with the Boone Cashman era. I know Cashman's not going anywhere. He's been there for 30 years. He's part of the Steinbrenner family. But if we ever get a cap in this sport, there's not one guy I trust less with that cap than Brian Cashman, because he has no idea how to spend the money. None. And that guy in the dugout and Aaron Boone, I'd rather have 20 other managers besides him. I am so done with them. I can't stand them. And I just, and then the Jazz Chisholm stuff. Can you bench him on Sunday? Can you?
I know, yeah.
After his comment Saturday night, like, do we discipline anybody? But no, because Jazz Chisholm last year called Aaron Boone his friend. Like, that's the stuff that drives me insane. He should be a coach, not your friend. But not with Aaron Boone, he's not.
Nope. But that's why this team is where they are. That's why this team is where they're at. And it does not look – I know they're going to get pitching. I think they're still going to make the playoffs. But with this manager, as you said, it looks like even in April we feel this way. Yeah. We feel that this team is not going to – especially is not going to win a World Series. It's not going to get the World Series. And definitely not going to win the World Series. Seeing the way the Dodgers are playing, you think that team is winning 4-7 from the Dodgers? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. To me, there's no way that's happening, seeing what's going on now. Now, we'll wrap with another team that has struggled, and that's the Red Sox right now, 6-11 in last place. I mean, the pitching – it's funny. I think most bullpen guys have higher ERAs than their starters, honestly. Their bullpen's one of the best in the game. The problem is they can't get to their bullpen because Garrett Crochet there on Monday night was awful. Sonny Gray has struggled. Ranger Schwartz has struggled. We thought it was going to be the bread and butter of the Red Sox has been their pitching, and it just hasn't been good. And as I said earlier, when their pitching isn't good, their offense just isn't good enough to score enough runs to overcome it. And that seems like I know they won 2 out of 3 against St. Louis, but they've lost the first 2 against Minnesota. You've had Chance sell the team from John Henry. You saw him. And then again, they let another, top player walk in, Alex Bregman. It's just you think the Red Sox took a step forward this year, but it looks like right now they're taking a step backwards, seeing what's going on right now.
Yeah, they are already down 1-0 in the top of third. Austin Martin hit a solo shot in the first, so they are already behind again today. That's been another thing is they really haven't gotten off to many leads seems like lately either. Um, yeah, this is another like problem by the Yankees, but I can't take pleasure in them. The Mets absolutely, you know,
Oh yeah,
not getting out of the gate as bad as they both have too.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, like the hitting hasn't totally been there either. I know that was kind of like, yeah, like losing Bregman hurt. They should have resigned him because Caleb Duran has not done anything. But yeah, like the starting pitching's been bad. Um, Crochet's gone off the rough start. I know they said he's healthy. I don't know if he's tipping pitches or what the other night, but like I don't think I've ever seen Garrett Crochet get lit up like he did the other night against Twins team that surprisingly has gotten off to a really good start and has the best record in the American League right now, which I don't think anybody would thought of 3 weeks ago. So go to the Twins, but yeah, this team right now is just like a mess, and now you got to avoid a sweep before kind of going back home here before a good Detroit team and the Yankee team who can't get out of their own way either. So yeah, the starting rotation just has not pitched as well as we thought, and that's been the thing because Suarez hasn't been good. I'm not surprised with Sonny Gray. That guy can't pitch in a big market. I've said that for years.
No. You could have seen that one coming. Schwartz, I'm surprised about, but you could have seen that coming.
Yeah, Schwartz. Yeah, Sonny Gray. I know Bello had a better start in his last game against St. Louis, so maybe there's hope, but like he hasn't pitched well either. And Conley early's been your best one so far. So, and he's on the mound today, and they're down 1-0. So, you hope that they turn it around. But yeah, it's been a bad start for them as well.
Yeah, things just not looking good for the Yankees and Red Sox to start the 2026 campaign. But that's going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with RJ. But next week, we will have our NFL draft special. So that'll be one show, and the second show will be doing the NBA playoffs. So for Justin Alfred, I'm Steve Risser. We'll be back next week doing our NFL mock draft. We do an annual mock draft. We'll do that next year. We'll do that this year. Our annual mock draft. We'll continue to talk about the NBA playoffs, and we'll continue to talk about the Yankees and Red Sox, even if they continue to struggle. Have a great weekend, everyone.